Peace be upon you, and it's your host Fadila. Welcome back to Books and Coffee Season 2. How have you been? I hope you've all been in good state. On today's episode, we have a guest who loves reading crime, mystery, and thriller novels. She's also a coffee babe. Welcome, Haleemah, to Books and Coffee. How are you? And how have you been doing?
Hi, I'm very well, thank you. How are you and how have you been doing as well?
Alhamdulillah. So nice to have you here.
I know, right? I feel so elated to be here as well. I'm not even going to lie about it. I'm super excited.
Same here. So before we dive into the actual interview, we'll start off with an icebreaker. It's going to be a this or that thing. I will ask this or that and then you pick. Are
Okay.
you ready?
Yeah, I'm always ready.
Romance or thriller?
Oh, thriller every day.
Cats or dogs?
No, I'm not a pet person. None.
Hardcover or paperback?
Paperback.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Library or bookstore?
It's hard to choose, but I think yeah, bookstore.
Short chapters or long chapters?
I love short chapters.
Sunrise or sunset?
Sunset.
6 seconds to speak with your favorite author or one day in your favorite author's mind.
One day in my favorite author's mind. Definitely.
And then the last one here, if books were to suddenly go extinct, what would you do?
I would literally stop existing. Like, I cannot. I don't even want to imagine it, so I might just leave it at that.
Okay. So let's start off with this question. What made you create a Bookstagram page?
Okay, if I'm going to be very honest, I honestly did not create a Bookstagram page. So that used to be like my personal page, and then lockdown happened. But my personal page has been very dormant because I'm not the one to like go post my face on my page at all times. So it's been really quiet. And then lockdown started. I figured I've been reading a lot of books. So I think I would post the books that I read just like as a form of bookkeeping kind of. So I know the books that I've read for the year and whatnot. And then I started doing that and similar pages started to follow me. And then that was only when I realized, oh, like there's something out there called like Instagram community and whatnot. But honestly, it was never my intention to start up a bookstagram or something. I was just doing it for record keeping literally.
So it was not something that you planned, it just came.
Yeah, I never planned it. It was not intentional at all. It just happened. I feel like I would call myself an accidental bookstagrammer because I I did not even have an idea that there's something called a bookstagram out there. It was never it for me. Like I was just posting and like I said, just trying to keep record of the books I've been reading and what I felt about them. And then that happened. And here we are.
So now that you're already in the Bookstagram community and everything, and you've already started posting book reviews and how you feel about books, so do you have a process of writing your book reviews? Or like, do you have a particular template you use to write your reviews?
I honestly do not. I think maybe I would say like maybe I have a format that I would use, but rarely do I ever use that. I only use that when I'm struggling to write a review. I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like there are times that you read a book that is so good you cannot put your emotions into words. And then I go and use this format. So I ask myself questions and then I try to answer the question in form of review. What's the book about? And then I answer that. What do you like about the book? I answer that. What are the themes that did it for you? I answer that. And then I just write it out without really posting the question. So that's what I do most of the time. So most of the time my reviews are mostly like, oh, like these are the things I liked about the book. These are the things I did not like about the book. There's a little synopsis of what happened in the book, no spoilers, and I just try to walk my way around that. But I don't really have like specific formats that I use to write my reviews. Like I can just write anything at anytime, depending on how much I enjoyed it.
Do you think writing book reviews without adding spoilers is quite difficult?
Not really, because I think I have gotten like a hang of it. I have perfected that honestly. And I think I'm able to perfect that because I honestly do not like spoilers. So I try as much as possible to not do that to other people as well. So I think I've just like learned to walk my way around the books. I tell you enough to make you want to read the book, but never too much to spoil the book for you.
What have you learned throughout your journey of bookstagramming?
I think the very key one for me is acceptance. I have learned to accept that I not every book is for me, and that is absolutely fine. And I have also learned to like just understand when people are like so intrigued by a book I read that was not doing it for me. I'm just like, okay, I feel like we're different people and we're excited and intrigued by different things. Just because I don't like a book does not make someone else who is interested in that book a lower person or does not make me a higher person because well, I don't like this book. There's absolutely it's not that deep. So if it's not for you, it's for someone else. I think that has been like one of the major things I've learned with the whole Instagram community thing because I know there are times that I have read books and it was just not it for me. And then I would see a couple of other people hyping the book up and they're like, oh, it was like a really good book for them. It was a really interesting read. I'll be like, okay, I think I accept that. There's no point in arguing or fighting about it. I get you, I get your point, I feel you, and I accept it. So I think that's like the very major one for me. Then I think I would also say, I have learned that you should just do you and do not expect anything from anyone. If you have a bookstagram, I think it's very major for you to just post what you like, do what you like, do not copy anyone, just do you. That's very major.
Hmm. So talking about the perspective part, like you get to see people that like a book and then a book that you didn't like, and like you accept that okay, my perspective and this person's perspective is totally different. And also it also comes down to kind of situations you're in. Maybe probably the person is in a kind of situation and you could relate to the book and you're not in that kind of situation, you could not relate to the book and you're like, nah, this book is not it. And so basically what you're saying is you you just have this mindset of okay, if this book is not for me, it's probably for somebody else out there.
Exactly my point. Like, I mean, if I don't like it, I'm definitely sure the people that are going to like it. So I just feel like as long as you as a writer, you're able to sit and actually write something, completed your work, you published it out, there's definitely someone out there that would be intrigued by your writing. Not me though, because I've read a whole lot of shitty books, but I see people hyping those books. They're like, oh, it's a good read. I'm like, okay, okay, I feel you, I get it, but I'm not one of you guys. I just get it. Thank you.
So what's your say on overly hyped books, like books that are hyped, and then when you read them, you're like, please, is it the same book we are reading? What's your view on those kind of books?
I just feel that most of their people, their books that are really not it, because I don't really want to put out the title of this book, but there used to be this book that I saw a lot of bookstagrammer reading and hyping. And one time I went to the bookstore, I saw this book and I'm like, okay, fine, I'm just going to get this one. It's been more than a year. I still have that book and I still have not read it. I could not make it past the third chapter. And the funniest thing is, I posted it on my Instagram story, and I'm like, is anybody willing to tell me what exactly is going on with this book before I go further? And a couple of people in my DM, they're like, oh, it's not a good read, it's not a good read, it's not a good read. And these same people posted it on their page, and they were like, it's a good read. They posted like really good reviews. Ultimately, I just feel like people need to be more honest about their reviews, regardless of whether or not it's a review copy. Just be honest. so that people are able to tell whether this is a book they want to read or it's not a book they want to read. Because the hype about that book was totally unnecessary. Like I still have the book, I still cannot read it. It was really awful for me. I see a lot of people hyping this book. A couple of them hyping this book were still in the DM talking about it's not really good. I get that you want to maybe write something really nice, but I think it would be nice if you are like honest in a kind way. There's a way you put out a review for a book that is not really it for you, but it's still going to be kind. But you just don't go and say, I enjoyed this book when you know deep down you did not. So I feel like honesty is very key when it comes to reviews, to be very honest.
Hmm, I totally agree. So honesty is one tip you would give to bookstagrammers or like people who decide to start their journey of bookstagramming.
Yes, I would say honesty. Be honest with your review, and I feel like you have a reputation because I don't want it to be that you're posting a review or you're posting reviews and people are like, oh, she's not really don't bank on her reviews like that because like it's not really it, that's not the life. Just be honest. After all, you're buying these books with your money. You don't owe anybody anything. The only people I feel you owe something are the people that are following you and you think they might take your recommendations seriously and actually go read that book. You don't want to disappoint people that are looking up to you for book recommendations and whatnot. So I think honesty is very key, not just for Bookstagram, but in every aspect of your life. Honesty is very, very key.
Vicky, so what other tips would you give someone who decides to start their bookstagram journey?
Hmm, I would say please be kind to yourself and do not rush. Importantly, don't put yourself under unnecessary pressure. Just go at your own pace, do things at your own pace, post when you feel like it, not when everybody else is posting. Write reviews when you feel like it, not when everybody else is writing reviews. Just do things at your own pace. Do not ever join the bandwagon. Just do the things you like. Read the books you want to read, leave the ones you don't want to read. Engage in things that you find interesting, leave the ones you don't find interesting. No offense to anybody, but just do you. It is very, very important to be your own person and having a mind of your own is very, very important as well. So I think my major advice would be like, just do you. Just do you and be content in it. Be comfortable in being yourself. It will take you very far.
Do you suggest that bookstagrammers stay consistent with their posting or like they will stick to a schedule and say, you know what, I'm going to post one time a week or twice a week or like having this schedule or you just feel you can just, flow and just go with the vibe?
Honestly, I feel like I'm the wrongest person to ask that question because I freestyle a lot. Sometimes I don't post anything for a month or two. Sometimes I post like twice a week. Sometimes I'm very consistent, other times I'm not. So I would say just still go at your own pace. If you want to have like a schedule for the things that you do, that's absolutely fine. Maybe you can do weekly or daily, whatever rock your boat, to be very honest. Like if you think you have the capacity to go weekly, then you should do that. If you think you have the capacity to go maybe once every 2 weeks, do that. As long as whatever you're doing, you're comfortable doing it and you think you can be consistent at that, that's absolutely fine. There's no problem with that at all. For me personally, I don't have a timetable. I don't have like days that I would do this and days that I would not. No, I just do things when I feel like. If I feel like posting anything today, I would do that. If I feel like posting anything in a month, I would do that. So it's never a thing of pressure from my end. Like it's always a no pressure for me.
Instagram for you is more like a hobby kind of thing rather than maybe a career like other bookstagram pages.
It's very much a hobby for me, and honestly I feel like we put in more pressure when we see bookstagram as a career. You put in more pressure on yourself and you get disappointed whole lot of time. If you think, oh, this is a career, I'm going to do this, I'm going to, because to be very honest, the Instagram algorithm is crazy. So there are times that maybe you're seeing you put in so much effort to maybe do this video or make this reel or create this content, and it's not getting as much exposure as you expect. You get so disappointed because you have expectations. I don't. I'm just doing what I want to do at the time I want to do them. And I'm not really so keen on whether or not I'm getting viewers or followers. It's just a thing of fun for me. And I feel like even if you see your Bookstagram as a career, just make it so fun for you and be very accepting of the outcome of whatever it is you've posted, be it your reel, your Instagram TV, your this, your that. Just make it so fun that you don't get disappointed very often because you put up more when you see it as a thing of career, you would probably want to copy other people because you see that they have way more followers than you do. You want to do you will not most of the time with this career Instagram thing, you will not be very original because you want to copy people, and it's never a good story because it doesn't really have a good engine. So just make it more fun. Just see it as a thing of fun for yourself and just live by that.
So all what you just said just goes back to being yourself, because like some of those Instagram pages, like people that are just starting, you see, like if you go on Instagram now, you can see lots of Instagram page that you the last time they posted was 2020. And I feel some of this, like you said, because when you see those big Instagram pages with lots of followers and views, and then you are like trying to copy and everything, so everything comes back to just being yourself and working with what works for you.
Honestly, like being yourself is very key. Book the Bookstagram community is like a very amazing place. I have met amazing people. I have met really, really kind and warm and like amazing people. But I feel like when you put up so much pressure on yourself, you sometimes forget why you started because you want to be like everybody. Just be original. You don't have to be like anybody else. Find what works for you, focus on it, be consistent, and you'd be fine. But when you see somebody doing this, you want to try it. When you see somebody doing that, you want to try it. How many people will you see and how many things do you want to try? I just feel like it's just too much pressure on yourself. Just be yourself, make it look like fun, and don't pressure yourself. I feel like when you're able to master these three, you're good to go. You were totally good to go.
So moving on to our next question. What challenges have you faced since you started this Bookstagramming thing, or since you started going on this Instagram path?
Okay. I don't really think I face challenges like that because I'm very accepting of whatever it is that happens. But I think one of my major challenges is I would very much like to um post more reviews, but I struggle a lot with doing that because I especially when I read a book that is so good, I struggle a lot with articulating my emotions and writing it down, maybe be catchy for other people where they'll be able to read and understand it. I struggle with that a lot. Secondly, I know my major challenge is maybe putting out a video where I'm actually in the background talking. I don't like to listen to my own voice, so I do not want to put other people through stress and terror of listening to this voice. So as much as I want to do it, try not to. I'm just like, you know what? No. And I really want to do it. But it's just that it is very challenging for me to do that because I've already like zeroed my mind, like I don't want to listen to my voice. So I also do not want other people to go through all of that. So I think that's one of my major challenges. I think these two, like my my major challenge.
So you talked about not being able to articulate your feelings, like your emotions, to write down a review when you loved a book so much. So if Instagram decided to introduce a voice note feature in like caption, how would that be helpful for you? Or is that even worse?
That is so going to be bad for me because I probably would never try that feature. Like maybe once just to see what it's going to be like. But no, it's definitely not for me. It's definitely going to make it worse because I just don't see myself being that person, honestly.
How do you read in order to create content for your audience? Do you have a set amount of books that you say, okay, I will complete this number of books within a week?
How do I read to create content? I don't read to create content. That's the thing. I just read because I want to read. But then creating content that I rarely ever do is just something that happens. I don't think I have ever really like maybe dressed up and be like, oh, I'm dressing up to go create content for my Instagram. I think the only time that I would say, oh, maybe I'm really doing this to post on my Bookstagram is maybe when I'm unboxing it. But if my face is involved, it just happened. It was never premeditated. It just happened. Like I said, this is like the thing of fun for me. I don't get so worked up to do anything at all for my Instagram. If you're talking about my reviews, I actually read way more than I post. Most times, what I do is I find a quote that I find very resonating from the book I just finished, and then I just attach it to the I make sure that the quote is the caption, and that's it for me. So I'm not the one to write a review for every single book that I have read. So if it's for the review, that's what I do. And if it's for content creation, my contents are never premeditated. It just happens.
Do you jot down or note down things or your feelings while you read, like in your notes, side notes?
No, I don't write anything.
Right. That note sounded.
I'm judging you if you do that. I don't annotate at all. The only thing that I know would go in the pages of my books highlighter. Writing in your book is a criminal offense. You need to go to jail for that one. Because why are you messing up your book? But I get it. Again, I feel like people are different. Yeah, if that works for you, you should definitely do that.
So the original question was, do you jot down like your feelings, not in your book or like in your notes? Phone notes.
Okay. No, I don't. I highlight a lot, but when I'm reading a book, I'm always very invested in a book. So I can tell you how I feel. I can tell you what I felt any given time. I honestly don't think I need to write it down. And surprisingly, I rarely ever forget quotes. I don't jot anything down. The least I can do when it comes to a book is highlight. When it comes to my emotions, I know exactly how I felt. So that's enough for me.
So are you one of those people that if they're asked, like you just finished reading a book and they're asked, okay, please, can you summarize this book for me? And then you are like, you've forgotten the entire plot. Like books you've read maybe a couple of years back.
This is very interesting because a friend of mine did ask me this same exact question like 4 days ago. And I don't there are two things that I don't forget when it comes to a book. I don't ever forget the title of a book, and I don't ever forget the plot of a book. I've read over 8,000 books, and honestly, as long as I can remember the name, I can tell you exactly what happened. Maybe I might forget some of the scenes or some of the parts, but I can tell you exactly what the plot is about.
So you have a very photographic kind of memory.
Yeah, I think
So, the last question I have here is, could you tell us about your experiences with maybe author interaction, book signing event, and meeting your favorite authors, those kind of things? Can you tell us a bit about your experiences?
I don't think I have like any personal experience with any of my favorite authors, and this is mainly because most of the authors that I really enjoy reading, they are not Nigerian authors. I don't think I have like any personal like interaction with any of them. Oh, there was this one time I used to do this thing on Twitter where when I read a book, I try to like journal the books that I read as a thread every year. So when I read a book, I just post it on my Twitter and I write like a short note about it and just leave it at that. This book, there was this new book, this new release, and I read it and I really liked it and I posted it on my Twitter and then I tagged her or something. I can't really remember what it was. And then she quoted the tweet. She's like, "Oh, thank you." But it was just like really exciting because I was not expecting it at all. It was just like a random occurrence and it was really sweet and warm. It like really warmed my heart. So I think that's like the closest I would say. I think that's just it for me. But aside that, I rarely tag authors that I read. I just read and post because I'm not really in for the whole recognition thing. I'm just doing it for the fun of it. So right now, I think Sarah Pimboro is the only one that I can remember, to be honest.
All right. What words of inspiration would you like to pass on to our listeners?
Uh, I would say be very content with who you are and where you are, and just try to work towards being a better person and be very true and honest to yourself. Because I feel like you can lie to anybody, you can lie to everybody, but you can't lie to yourself. Because when you're doing that, it just goes to show that you're not ready to come clean to yourself, and you can't really go far with that. So be very content and be very true to yourself. Also, be kind to other people. You don't have to want to get something from someone before you're kind to them. You don't have to benefit anything from anyone before kindness. Just be kind to people. I really like kindness and I'm very key with that. So please just be kind to people and be very prayerful. That's all I can say.
All right. So, in summary, people, be kind to people, be yourself, don't lie to yourself, and be prayerful. That's
Yes.
it for this episode. People, thank you, Halima, for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
If you've not followed the show, do so right away. Follow us on Instagram at Books and Coffee Podcast. Catch you all next week. Assalamu alaikum.